marching right at the police with their hands up, but the police were in formation, in line, and they were firing flashbangs, rubber bullets, and they threw tear gas as well, and the crowd did disperse. Now, we managed to get to a safe distance off to the side. We captured this whole thing, got some very compelling video, and the police actually turned toward us because there was a couple cars behind us that were sort of, I would say, rubbernecking. They had stopped, slowed down, rolled their windows down, and the police started firing paint canisters at the cars. And as soon as we were going to come up and try to bring this all to you live, there was a woman, she was driving one of those cars. She got hit in the face. She had a nasty gash on the bridge of her nose, and we went over to try to just see if she was okay, and she was in a lot of pain, and there were actually a couple strangers from out of town just passing through, as they said, who were there to help her with this, and they got her to a hospital, and it was tough to see. I tweeted it, and some of the people responded to the video of seeing how she was hurt that, well, it was after the curfew and she was breaking curfew. Now, with the peaceful protesters, I think we've learned tonight, after the curfew was enforced, that it didn't matter to the officers what was peaceful, what was not. They were there to do a job, and by the time we got back from the girl who had cut her nose open, the crowd had completely dispersed, and we don't even know where they went. It was pretty actually stark how empty things were and quiet, and how quickly it had all happened. So we have been trying to find crowds just to see where people are. We've seen a couple of crowds, but a lot of these little residential streets around us are blocked off right now, and but it is quiet. There's a few people here behind us, but from what we've seen, when there's smaller groups or single people walking around, the officers are not really going after them. It's really when you see the large gatherings of 100 or more people like we came across earlier.
Hey, David, you said you're at 15th in East Lake?
Yes, at 15th Avenue and 2 blocks north of Lake.
Okay, because we're hearing something about 14th and Lake, and we're just trying to figure out.
We were just trying to get down there. We were just trying to get down there. The roads are blocked off for cars, so we were walking when a red laser pointer actually appeared to be pointing straight at us from what looked to be police vehicles down that road. So just out of safety's sake, we didn't want to push forward too much, but it didn't look like a crime scene like
get the fuck serious, man.
Had been shot, as someone had mentioned to us.
Hey, David, as we look at your video again of all this stuff that went down, did the police come up on them randomly? I wonder if they got tipped off that there was a gathering there. Were these people somewhere else? Because it's becoming so quiet out there right now that to have a group of 100 or 50 people gathered, it's almost like shooting out the flare tonight and saying, "Here I am, come get me."
I think you make a great point about that, and what was so funny about the timing of it all was right before the police arrived, we were about to interview a man who was part of this gathering, and he had said, everything's quiet right now here, but my girlfriend, she just told me that the police will be making their way over here. They're trying to find us, to break us up. So, and then it happened almost immediately after he said that, and it got into, you can see in the video, pretty intense confrontation, but it worked in terms of breaking up the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, you've got, I hear the helicopter above you. You've got people texting and calling the police. The police are able to answer the call tonight. You've got business owners protecting your business. You have a lot of people that are like, I get that you want to protest, but you've got a lot of people going, the curfew went into effect at 8 o'clock. Respect it.
Exactly. And, I don't know if I have anything else to say about that right now, but we are going to try to get down to that 14th and Lake area that you mentioned to see if we can find out what's going on.
All right, well, David, thank you.
Thank you for bringing us that, and we'll do so.
conversation about George Floyd. Actor Jamie Foxx was part of it.
Know that there's a lot of things going on, but what I don't want us to forget is George. Yeah. Mind just continues to go back to there, and then hopefully once we can get past this unfortunateness, which is going to have to happen, this is something that's going to have to happen, we can now start healing in the way of having Rodney speak and say, hey, let's change this language so we can get to a better place.
Fox was referencing Rodney Lane in the bottom right of your screen there, a San Francisco police officer. The group was also joined by community activist LaRon Mayfield, whose brother was killed by BART police in 2018.
Protests have been going on in Washington, D.C., right outside the White House. How much one celebrity is donating to cover the bail of demonstrators who get arrested.
All right, once again, we are in commercial on ABC 7 on air, but on Facebook, we continue now with a look from Sky 7 to director Douglas. This is the Oakland Whole Foods area, I'm told. You see a Z Grill and Bar. There appears to be some police activity. This is near Lake Merritt. I'm hearing from some colleagues of mine on our internal server that our colleagues in Oakland are hearing some loud noises coming from the Lake Merritt area. We don't know what those loud noises are, whether they are the sounds of perhaps any flashbangs, or we do see now a couple law enforcement officials on motorcycle as we zoom out from this vantage point to kind of get a better idea of what type of activity we're seeing. Certainly there are maybe a handful, a dozen or so people who are milling around on one street corner, but nothing in comparison to what we saw in Oakland, outside of Oakland Police Headquarters last night. There, we saw the situation escalate at around this time, where there were some fires set near a bus stop, along with a tremendous amount of looting. Earlier, we heard from Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf speaking at a press conference with some business owners. She revealed that approximately 70 businesses were targeted, as you can see one right here. This includes car dealerships. The Mercedes dealership had several high-end vehicles destroyed. The same can be said about other dealerships. We heard from one dealership employee who said they were already hurting, of course, with shelter in place and with the current situation of coronavirus and the quarantine. Some of these small businesses include mom and pop shops in Oakland's Chinatown area. We did get video from a user who showed the destruction at a Cricket Wireless and the glass, and many people boarding up their windows. Once again, we are live in the commercial break where we are taking a look at Sky 7. Right now, not a lot of activity, an awful lot of police presence, though. We don't know what direction they are taking, but this is the area of Lake Merritt. There's a Whole Foods there, along with what appear to be maybe just a handful of protesters, but once again, this pales in comparison to what we saw last night and what we saw tonight in nearby Emeryville, where the looting was truly a sight to see. We're just 10 seconds away from being on air. We'll be right back. We'll continue on TV and on YouTube and Facebook.
National Guard troops are being deployed to Los Angeles after protests turned violent there today. CNN cameras captured people looting this store. Stores at the Grove Outdoor Mall were also looted, and several vehicles were set on fire. LA has enacted a curfew, as have the cities of Beverly Hills and West Hollywood.
Well, Chrissy Teigen is donating $200,000 to post bail for protesters across the country. The model and cookbook author originally pledged to give half as much, but then a Twitter user called the protesters rioters and criminals, and Teigen doubled her pledge. In subsequent tweets, Teigen had some harsh words for the president and encouraged people to keep this quote-unquote same energy when they vote.
Much more to come on ABC 7 News at 11. We're monitoring the protest in San Francisco tonight over the death of George Floyd. Things spiraled after dark, and we have heard reports of looting.
And a monumental step today for America as the U.S. returns to space for the first time in nearly a decade. We'll have the SpaceX launch. And once again, thank you for staying with us on Facebook during our commercial breaks on the air on ABC 7 KGO TV. Sky 7 right now is undoubtedly responding to reports of some loud noises and activity happening in the Lake Merritt area of Oakland. You see that line of officers in the middle of the street, law enforcement really out in full force. They seem to be on standby at this moment because we have not gotten many images of protesters like we saw yesterday. I want to give you an idea of what we are getting internally into the newsroom. What we are monitoring is a Slack channel, if any of you use it. It's a collaborative software where we are able to communicate not only with our teams across the Bay Area, wherever they happen to be stationed, the crews that is, but also with people who are working from home. We're hearing from some people that there is looting at Whole Foods, lots of breaking glass and screaming, and this is the one near 27th. Also, we are getting reports what appears to be staging at 24th and Valdez. One of our producers, Kate, says she can see across Lake Merritt. There is a spotlight, but there is a lot of movement. However, we're not sure exactly what that movement is. Now, because of the great amount of looting that we have seen, not only in the Bay Area, but across the country, Target made the announcement late this evening on its corporate website. They are, of course, based in Minneapolis, that their hearts go out to George Floyd and the situation, his loved ones, and that in response, they're choosing to close stores across the country. This includes 20 some odd locations in the Bay Area. There was an asterisk placed next to one of the locations in the Bay Area that indicated one that had suffered some looting. We saw also some very graphic images from Walgreens locations. One in particular yesterday from Oakland, and then one today in the Walgreens downtown, the Westfield Shopping Center area. That is along Market Street. And we know from police that there, the Marshalls, the Nordstrom Rack, the Macy's, it almost takes your breath away, the amount of destruction and how wide of a span it is. It's almost a, I have to say, helpless feeling watching this and wondering how to stop it or how to at least keep it to a minimum. We are about to go back live on ABC 7 over the air, but until then you are taking a look on Facebook at Sky 7. That police presence still heavy in Oakland near Lake Merritt.
Now from ABC 7, live breaking news.
Right away now, that breaking news coming out of San Francisco after a night of vandalism and looting. Also, a curfew has been set from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m., and that goes into effect tomorrow evening. Once again, let's get to ABC 7 News reporter Luz Pena, who is tracking the situation across San Francisco tonight. And Luz, certainly a lot to get to.
Dion, video of looting and vandalism keeps on coming in from Emeryville and San Francisco. Let's start in San Francisco, where we can see a crowd of protesters on Market Street. Police surrounding the area as looters broke into stores like Swarovski and shattered glass doors at the main entrance of Westfield Mall. The next video, other stores like CVS and Walgreens along Market Street were also hit by looters tonight. We can see that they were initially boarded up, and this did not stop crowds of people from looting. In the next video in Emeryville, we saw looting at several stores throughout the night. Here we can see people coming in and out of Best Buy with electronic devices, while one of the Best Buy vehicles was on fire on the side of the building. Moving on to the Bay Street Shopping Center, Uniqlo, H&M, and Ross were all looted as well. And tonight, Oakland's Mayor Libby Schaaf said the violence she saw last night from protesters crossed the line and urged people to stay home. In San Francisco, we spoke to several protesters who said looters are sending the wrong message. In the crowd, we met Michael Davis, who lost her 16-year-old brother 11 years ago. She said tonight she protested with him in mind.
He was killed by San Pablo police officers, and they're still working with force in San Pablo, California. And it's just, it's unacceptable. But my brother was only 16 years old. He did not live his life. He didn't have a chance at life. And he was shot in his head by the police.
Wow, I'm so sorry.
Yes. So, George Floyd, it brought up a lot of old and sad, emotions for me, a lot of hard feelings for me to deal with. But I just decided to come out and protest. It's time. And a lot of people on the internet, I'm on the internet a lot, but I come out, pop out.
That we're here again in 2020, seeing another black man being killed by the police on camera, which is similarly to the Mario Woods case here in San Francisco. We're telling people to not be silent, to come out, to protest, to be heard.
San Francisco Police Chief Scott sent a personal message to the community.
As an African-American man and as a chief of police, I can relate to what people are feeling. I can relate to it. For the officers that are out there working their behinds off to do a job, right now in the most difficult time in most of their careers, if not our lifetime, I can relate to that too. We know people are hurting. I'm hurting. Officers are hurting. My family is hurting. We know what that feels like. We understand as a police department, people need to get out and express themselves.
Several protesters we spoke to tonight said the actions of those looting do not represent their message. They protested in San Francisco in hopes to see a positive change towards the African American community and quote end to police brutality. In the newsroom, Luz Peña, ABC 7 News.
Thanks, Luz. Here is another look at some of the violence in San Francisco tonight. Looters got into Saks Fifth Avenue and Union Square. Police arrived to confront them. At least one person was seen on video throwing something at an officer. There appears to have been a board on the window that was torn down. As we mentioned earlier, a curfew will be in effect in San Francisco beginning at 8 tomorrow night. Mayor London Breed said, quote, the city and the police will support peaceful protests as we did all day today. We cannot tolerate violence and vandalism. Now is the time to go home. Well, today's launch of the SpaceX Dragon capsule from Kennedy Space Center marks the first time astronauts have launched from U.S. soil in nearly a decade. It was also an historic moment for SpaceX, which became the first private corporation to launch people into orbit. ABC News reporter Megan Trevisan has the story.
Dragon, SpaceX, go for launch.
This afternoon, its mission
Ooh. Yep. Hell yeah.
The Ridge wallet for real is my type of wallet. Once you get used to a wallet like this, the old like folding leather normal wallets of the past just kind of look and feel ancient. It's minimal, it's high quality, it's industrial. Basically, it's...
I'm gonna do a prank on my stepdad. I'm gonna act like I need some tissue and shit. And when he hand me the tissue, I'm gonna act like I wiped some shit on his hand. I'm trying to see what he's gonna say. This is what I'm using. It look like Dookie. Alright, let's get it busted. Hey, pal. Ain't no tissue in here. Can you bring me some tissue?
Hey, man. Hey, Chris.
What?
Hey, man. Tell me to say the motherfucking shit on my hand, man.
My bad, bro.
No. Hey, how the hell you get shit on your hand and get it on my hand?
My stomach.
What you doing? Stick your hand back there on the toilet paper, man.
My stomach.
Stick your hand back shit on my hand. What? Hey! Nigga! Are we done with it?
Calm down, bro.
This thing is funny.
It's a prank.
I'm killing this thing. Come on, girl.
It's a prank.
All y'all do is foul me. God damn.
Hey, pal.
Yeah.
Ain't no tissue in here. Could you bring me some tissue?
Oh.
I hear you sit down on the toilet without noticing there's no toilet paper in there. Hey, man. Hey! Hey, man. Hey, Chris. Hey, man. Tell me to say the motherfucking shit on my hand, man. No. Hey, how the hell you get shit on your hand and get it on my hand? Why don't you do is stick your hand back there on the toilet paper, Chris? Man, this thing right shit on my head! They moving the back, I can't go fit! What? Man! Nigga! I'm a fucking done with it! Man, this thing is funny!
It's a prank.
I'm killing this thing. Where my gun?
It's a prank.
Where my motherfucking gun? I hear you sit down on the toilet without noticing there's no toilet paper in there. Hey, man. Hey! Hey, man! Hey! Chris! Hey, man. Tell me to say the motherfucking shit on my hand, man. No. Hey, how the hell you get shit on your hand and get it on my hand? Why don't you do is stick your hand back there on the toilet paper, Chris? Man, this thing right shit on my head! They moving the back, I can't go fit! What? Man! Nigga! I'm a fucking done with it! Man, this thing is funny!
It's a prank.
I'm killing this thing. Where my gun? I hear you sit down on the toilet without noticing there's no toilet paper in there. Hey, man. Hey! Hey, man. Hey, Chris. Hey, man. Tell me to say the motherfucking shit on my hand, man. No. Hey, how the hell you get shit on your hand and get it on my hand? Why don't you do is stick your hand back there on the toilet paper, Chris? Man, this thing right shit on my hand. They gonna be back, but they don't fit. What? Man, nigga! I'm a fucking dog, baby. Man, this thing is funny. How the hell you sit down on the toilet without noticing no toilet paper in there? Hey, man. Hey! Hey, man! Hey! Chris! Hey, man. Tell me to say that motherfucking shit on my hand, man. No. Hey. How the hell you get shit on your hand and get it on my hand? Why don't you do is stick your hand back there on the toilet paper, Chris? Man, this thing ain't right shit on my hand! They gonna be back, but they don't fit! What? Man! Nigga! I'm a fucking dog, baby! Man, this thing is funny! It's a prank! I'm killing this nigga. Where my gun? It's a prank! Where's my mother? How the hell you sit down on the toilet without noticing no toilet paper in there? Hey, man. Hey! Hey, man! Hey! Chris! Hey, man. Tell me to say that motherfucking shit on my hand, man. No. Hey. How the hell you get shit on your hand and get it on my hand? Why don't you do is stick your hand back there on the toilet paper, Chris? Man, this thing ain't right shit on my hand! They gonna be back, but they don't fit! What? Man! Nigga! I'm a fucking dog, nigga! Man, this thing is funny! It's a prank! I'm killing this nigga. Where my gun? It's a prank! Where my motherfucking gun? How the hell you sit down on the toilet without noticing no toilet paper in there? Hey, man. Hey! Hey, man! Hey! Chris! Hey, man. Tell me to say that motherfucking shit on my hand, man. No. Hey. How the hell you get shit on your hand? How the hell you sit down on the toilet without noticing no toilet paper in there? Hey, man. Hey! Hey, man! Hey! Chris! Hey, man. Tell me to say that motherfucking shit on my hand, man. No. Hey. How the hell you get shit on your hand and get it on my hand? Why don't you do is stick your hand back there on the toilet paper, Chris? Man, this thing ain't right shit on my hand! They gonna be back, but they don't fit! What? Man! Nigga! I'm a fucking dog, baby! Man, this thing is funny! It's a prank! I'm killing this nigga. Where my gun? It's a prank! Where's my motherfucking gun? How the hell you sit down on the toilet without noticing no toilet paper in there? Hey, man. Hey! Hey, man! Hey! Chris! Hey, man. Tell me to say that motherfucking shit on my hand, man. No. Hey. How the hell you get shit on your hand and get it on my hand? Why don't you do is stick your hand back there on the toilet paper, Chris? Man, this thing ain't right shit on my hand! They gonna be back, but they don't fit! What? Man! Nigga! I'm a fucking dog, baby! Man, this thing is funny! It's a prank! I'm killing this nigga. Where my gun? It's a prank! Where's my motherfucking gun?
Wells Fargo is donating